This is a podcast about our lived experience, which unfortunately includes infant death and subsequent mental health struggles. Please take good care of yourself and only listen if this content feels safe for you right now. We'll still be here when you're ready.
Hi, I'm Judith.
And I'm Alina. We both lost babies to SIDS in winter 2021.
In the throes of grief, I reached out to a stranger on the internet and our friendship was born.
In the years since, we've been working hard to survive, rebuild, and navigate the continual challenges that have come our way, including divorce,
Job loss,
dating while bereaved,
moving multiple times,
health scares,
pregnancy and parenting a living child,
starting new jobs, and so much more.
We are tired.
Happily ever after is out of the question for us, but this podcast documents our journeys to happier ever after because we believe life after loss is worth living.
So join us as we laugh, cry until we laugh.
Welcome to As Long As I'm Living podcast.
We're so glad you're here.
Hello. Alina here from As Long As I'm Living podcast, Quinn's mom. We are on a podcast break for the next few weeks. And while we're out, we decided to share a couple of tips, tricks, and recommendations from the bottom of our very random hearts.
Other things that people can do with their time while they're not listening to As Long As I'm Living podcast. Okay, Judith, what's another podcast you recommend? It does not have to be baby loss related.
Wow, I've been listening to only depressing podcasts recently.
You can say a depressing podcast.
Okay, I've been listening, well, I feel like this reveals a really nuanced side of me, but I've been listening nonstop to a podcast called Growing Up in Polygamy. And I don't know if
that sounds so good.
But it's about this guy and his wife, and this guy, he grew up in the FLDS.
Oh yeah, the fundamentalist Latter-day Saints. Of course, yes.
And they believe in polygamy. They've got this leader, Warren Jeffs, and he's like he's a little much, and he's also
a little much. Warren Jeffs, yeah, he's a little more than a little much. He's in jail.
He's in prison for a lifetime. Actually, I think he's a lifetime plus
multiple lifetimes.
He's assaulted children, but that's
beside the point.
The point of the podcast is I've just learned a lot about FLDS, and this. I don't know why I'm so into this. I literally listen to this episode, like a podcast episode, every night before bed. Every night. I mean, for probably a month now, I've been listening to this guy. I don't know why. I don't know how I found it. I don't know if I recommend it unless you're like particularly interested in XFLDS members.
Okay,
and Growing Up in Polygamy, you can watch the YouTube video or you can listen to the podcast. So that's the first thing I would recommend. And then the second thing I would recommend is actually on YouTube. It's this guy named Simon Wilson. He travels around the world and he does like these cool like no money challenges where he has to spend like 48 hours in a new city with no money. That's interesting. He also has these series where he tried to go to all 7 continents in 7 days.
Ooh.
I like watching that one. So Simon Wilson, I really recommend him. And then the last thing I'll recommend, I'm trying to come up with good things. Yeah, no. Yeah.
Right? Good, because I don't have any podcasts, so you have to do all the podcasts.
And then this last thing, there's this guy who also is a travel man. His name is Harold Balder, Baldr, another traveling man. And I like his episodes where he goes to like markets all over the country and like buys interesting things and like negotiates with people wherever they're from, because they're all like in these random countries where I will never be and I've never been. And so I appreciate that insight into life. And for some reason, I find the market videos so fascinating. I think what we've discovered is I have odd interests.
Yeah. So was that on YouTube?
Yeah. Harold Balder.
Okay, YouTube recommendations from Judith. Harold Balder.
Simon
Wilson.
To all of our wonderful new friends, we want to hear from you. Email us at aslongasimlivingpodcast@gmail.com and follow us on Instagram at aslongasimlivingpodcast. We'll get back to you as soon as our grieving brains allow.
Yay!